1993. The ringing of the phone finally registered in Eric, and he tried to swim through the layers of fog, out of a deep sleep, into consciousness as his hands groped for the elusive phone on the stand beside his bed. Eric's fingers finally wrapped around the phone, and he brought it to his ear, as he lay tangled in his sheets with his eyes closed. "This had better be good," he croaked into the phone, his voice still thick with sleep. "Hey, little brother, what's happening?" Sean's energetic voice seemed to burst through the phone lines. "Sean, is that you? Jesus Christ, what are you calling me in the middle of the night for?" barked Eric, trying to sound indignant even though a smile was spreading across his face. He was glad to hear from his brother. "Middle of the night? Hell, kid, it's 0900, the best time of the day." "It's easy for you to say, asshole," Eric chided, still trying to sound mad. "Hey Eric, good news. I know where I'm gonna be over Easter so we can finalize our plans." "Oh yeah? So what exotic place are we spending Easter?" Eric asked, stifling a yawn. "Fauquier County, Virginia," Sean said in a voice bursting with pride. "Fauquier, where the hell is that?" Eric asked, confused. "Ha ha ha," Sean laughed. "You've been through it 100 times on your way to Virginia Beach. It's between Winchester and Warrenton. Matter of fact, Warrenton's the county seat." "Okay, Sean, what gives? I figured we'd be in D.C., or some exotic place they'd be sending you." "I got a home base now, kid, and I gotta get it shipshape." "Come again? Sean, what the hell are you talking about?" Eric asked, completely befuddled. "I bought a house, kid. Home sweet home. Sinking down my roots, you know? Invested in some prime real estate." Eric had to laugh listening to his brother's excited voice. "You trying to tell me you bought a house?" Eric said, egging him on. "Damn right, boy. Ain't you been listening? Big old place built before the Civil War. 10-foot ceilings, half a dozen fireplaces, full of a bunch of old antique stuff, and got a nice chunk of land with it, too. Wait till you see it. It's something else." Eric smiled. He was really happy for Sean. He never remembered hearing this kind of excitement in his voice, except maybe when he bought that old shipwreck of a houseboat. He also felt guilty over the pang of envy that shot through him. Sean always seemed to fall into big deals. Dreams come true if you're Sean Murphy. "Kid, hey kid, you still there?" Sean's voice boomed, shaking Eric out of his reverie. Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, I didn't catch that last part," Eric said, stalling, trying to remember what Sean had been talking about. "Sometimes, boy, I wonder about you. I said bring a sleeping bag if you got one. If you don't worry. We'll get you one when you get here." Sean's voice carried on excitedly. "Sleeping bag? I don't get it," Eric asked. "Are we going camping? I thought you said you bought a house." "God damn it, kid. Ain't you listening? I said the house needed a little, well, some work, if you know what I mean. The bedrooms aren't quite ready. We'll sort of be roughing it, you know?" Eric answered slowly, growing weary. "Need some work? How much work, Sean?" "Well, kid, it was a real deal. You ought to check out the price of land around here, much less houses. Why, the land alone is worth Eric cut him off. "How much work does it need, Sean?" Eric asked earnestly, again remembering the shambles the houseboat was in when Sean bought it. "Well, you remember my houseboat when I first got it, kid?" "Yeah," Eric laughed. Sean was reading his mind. "I sure do. I was just thinking about it, matter of fact." "Well," Sean continued, "it just needs a bit more work than that." "My God," Eric gasped. "You bought a house that's sunk? Where's the land? Underwater? Ha! Let me guess, the bottom of the Chesapeake Bay," Eric roared, laughing at his own joke. "Go ahead and laugh. Wait till you see it. It's really nice. Just needs a little TLC and some elbow grease." "Wait a minute," Eric interrupted. "You changed your name to Oliver and moved to Green Acres." Eric was laughing so hard now, tears were starting to roll down his cheeks. After a minute, he stopped. Sean patiently waited on the other end of the line. "I'm sorry, Sean. I just had to bust your balls a little, you know?" "Yeah, kid, I know. I heard the same thing from old Jack when I called him, and even the real estate agent tried to talk me out of it, little brother. But you know me, I like a challenge. And you gotta admit, Miss October turned out mighty fine indeed." "Yeah, it did. You're right, Sean. It's just funny is all. You know, all these years you never owned anything except that boat, and it was a wreck. Now you bought a house, you get a job that pays in the six-figure bracket, and you buy a fixer-upper? Just because I have money is no reason to waste it, Eric. That's something you should have learned. Maybe you wouldn't be in such a fix right now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to sound like Dad. Yeah, well, I'm kinda used to it. Don't sweat it, bro. Sean's words stung, but Eric realized he had it coming. I shouldn't be riding you so hard when you're all excited and, hell, I'm sorry too, Sean. It's okay, kid. We're family. Some of it was pretty funny at that. He was silent for a moment. Eric, one more thing. Yeah, what's that? Eric asked cautiously. Sean was using a strange tone of voice all of a sudden. I was thinking I might have met someone. Eric was baffled for a minute. You mean a female somebody that you like and doesn't charge you for her time? Eric, come on. They haven't all been cheap hookers, Sean said unconvincingly. Yeah, name one, Eric shot back. Well, there was old what's-her-name back in high school. And oh, Tammy Wilson. They don't count. Why not? Sean said, stricken. Puppy love doesn't count. They weren't puppy love. They were serious. If I hadn't gone off to war, I might have married Tammy. You know why I didn't have any serious relationships while I was in the Navy? Yeah, I know. You told me I don't know how many times. Let's see, it goes like this. Everybody I know in my profession that's married is miserable or divorced. It's too much of a strain on a relationship. Gone all the time for who knows how long, and not able to talk about it when you get back. Love 'em and leave 'em. Then you won't hurt 'em, and they can't hurt you. Find 'em cheap and easy when you can. When you can't, use your hand. How's that? Pretty good? Eric asked over the phone. Damn straight, kid, Sean answered. That's a good motto to live by in the business I was in. I've seen too many broken-hearted widows when their man comes home in a body bag. It could have just as easily been me at any time. I never wanted to cause anyone that kind of hurt. Eric thought about it for a moment. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Why the big change all of a sudden? Well, that's easy, kid, Sean answered. I'm not in the Navy anymore, remember? I retired. Ha ha ha. Now it was his turn to laugh. All right, Eric shot back. I'll give you that much. Just don't tell me her name's Lisa. She has platinum blonde hair, and she talks like one of the Gaber sisters. They both laughed easy at that, and Sean started singing the familiar theme song of the TV show from their youth. Eric joined in on the second line, and they both roared with laughter. That's something I haven't heard in a long time, Eric. You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say you sounded happy. Things getting better? Yeah, things haven't been too bad lately at that. You sound pretty good yourself. It's good to laugh together again, isn't it, Sean? Yeah, little brother, it sure is, Sean said in a satisfied voice. So, where's this new estate of yours, Sean? Well, you have to go down a couple back roads I don't know the names of yet to get there, but it's not that far off of Route 17 after you get off 66, before you get to Warrington. Don't worry about that. I'll give you better directions before you head down. Sounds good to me. Hey, Sean, you know they're closing the truck plant where I work and sending us all over the car plant. The thing is, I'm gonna be off anywhere between 3 to 6 months. Great, Sean chipped. You can stay down here and let me bust your ass. You sure I won't be intruding? Eric asked cautiously. Nonsense, little brother. I'll pay you good too. Under the table even. I don't need your money, Sean, Eric shot back defensively. What's wrong with my money, bro? I got some. You need some. It's not charity. You're gonna work your ass off for it, Sean scolded. I'll do it for nothing, you know. Yeah, I know, Sean answered honestly. Sean, Eric asked tentatively after a pause. Yeah, little brother? Thanks. Don't mention it, Eric. I'll get a hold of you in a week or so before you come down. You got a pen? Here's my number. Hang on a second. Eric fumbled around on his nightstand for a pen and a scrap of paper. How'd you get a phone already? Eric questioned. This is cellular, kid. You know, a portable. Woo! Aren't we important? Eric chided. Okay, I'm ready, shoot. Sean gave Eric the number, and they talked for a little while longer and hung up, both feeling good about the call. Eric lay in bed thinking about what Sean had said. Yeah, he had to admit, things were looking up. He hadn't been nearly as depressed, and today he was shooting for 3 miles. Eric just lay in bed smiling. The two women walked into the Food Lion in Warrington, chattering lightly. All eyes followed them. The other women out of envy, men out of lust. They looked like sisters. They were both stunning. You could tell the slightly taller one was older, more sophisticated. Her auburn hair more conservative. The younger one was almost identical, except for a wilder hairstyle and a blonde streak running through her strawberry blonde hair. The biggest difference in their looks was the suntan the younger one had, which is rare in Virginia this time of year. The people who didn't already know them would have been shocked to find out they weren't sisters, but mother and daughter. "Oh, Mama, I never wanted it to end. I had such a good time. I'm going back every year while I'm in college." Abby Deacon grabbed a grocery cart and started moving down the aisle, smiling benignly. She just smiled and listened. Jessie had talked non-stop about her trip since she had returned home yesterday. Abby smiled. She was happy Jessie had such a good time. Even though she was tired of hearing about it, she'd never let on. It made her feel good to see her daughter so happy, especially doing something Abby had always wanted to do but couldn't. When she was Jessie's age, and her friends were running off to Florida for spring break, she was home taking care of little Jessie. She wasn't bitter. It honestly made her feel good to see Jessie get things she hadn't gotten growing up. And Mama, there were so many good-looking guys. Broad shoulders, tight buns. A shiver of pleasure ran through her body, and a dreamy look crossed her face with the memory. Abby rolled her eyes. "Jessie Elizabeth," she chided. Jessie laughed and slapped her mother's arm playfully. "Oh, Mama," was all she said. You could tell by watching them they were best friends, comfortable and at ease with each other. "Oh, Mama, wait until you meet Greg." The mention of a new name caught Abby's attention. "Greg? I haven't heard you mention him yet." "He was such a dream, Mama. A real stud." "Jessie Elizabeth," Abby said, shocked, as her jaw dropped. "We were on the beach and all the stars were out. It was so romantic. He brought a chilled bottle of wine. Oh God, it was great. Not like before." "Before?" Abby managed, still dumbfounded. "Yeah, you know what I mean. The first couple of times. I wondered what the big deal was. It kind of hurt, and it wasn't fun. Oh, but this time was something. Ooh." She shuddered again. "My God, I'm gonna pass out," Abby said, putting her hand to her cheek in shock. "Mama, you okay?" Jessie said, concerned. "Sweetheart," Abby said, trying to stay composed, "I'm never gonna be alright again." "But Mama, you always said I can tell you anything, and you're the one who put me on the pill when I was 16. I know, dear. I know what I said, but that doesn't mean it wouldn't shock me." Jessie looked at her mother, a hurt look on her face. Abby brushed her hand across Jessie's cheek. "Sweetheart, don't look at me like that. I'm not mad. That's the kind of thing that takes you by surprise and knocks the wind out of you, even if you're ready for it. I just want what's best for you, dear. You know that, don't you? I put you on the pill because you were the only good thing that came out of my marriage to your papa. Except for you, I would live that part of my life different. I didn't want you making the same dumb mistakes I made. You remember how hard it was when you were growing up?" Abby looked deeply into her daughter's eyes. "I just want what's best for you, that's all." Jessie smiled at her mother. "I know, Mama, I know. It's only been a couple times until Greg, and we were careful. I know it's the 90s and all, and you gotta practice safe sex. Don't worry, Mama. I don't plan on jumping into bed with every guy I see. I'm a smart girl. You raised me better than that." "Oh, thank God," Abby said, somewhat relieved. "But that's not gonna stop me from looking," Jessie said with an impish smile. "Jessie," Abby said in a serious mother tone. "It might just be what you need too, Mama. I mean, I know you get lonely." Abby could feel her cheeks coloring a deep red. "Jessie Elizabeth, you may be a healthy young woman and all, but you're still my daughter, and we are not going to stand here and discuss my sex life or what I may or may not need." Looking down, Jessie brought her hand to her mouth, trying to unsuccessfully stifle a laugh. "I don't think it's funny one bit, young lady," Abby said sharply, anger rising in her eyes. "Mama, I don't mean to laugh," Jessie coughed. "It's just, look." she said by way of explanation, pointing her finger to their grocery cart. The two women had been moving down the aisles, intent on their conversation. Abby looked down in surprise to see her cart teeming with groceries. Mama, look. You've been so upset, you've just been filling the cart. And I don't think you got one thing that's on that shopping list of yours. Abby looked from the cart to her meager shopping list, then to Jessie, and back again, trying her best to keep an angry look on her face. But slowly her stern scowl broke into a smile, then she and Jessie both started laughing. My God, child, you must have rattled me good. Now what am I going to do with all these groceries? I'll go get another cart, Mama, and we'll just leave this one here. One of the stock boys will get it. Jessie, we can't do that. Come on, help me put these things back where they go. Oh, Mama, all right, Jessie pouted jokingly, and they started retracing their steps back through the store, restoring the goods to the shelves. With that done, they resumed their shopping, and as Abby closely consulted her list, she heard Jessie's sharp intake of breath, followed by her exclamation of, "Oh my God." What is it, Jessie? Abby said, looking up. Did you see him, Mama? Jessie said excitedly. Did I see who, dear? Abby said, looking around, seeing no one. God, Mama, only the most beautiful man I've ever seen. He was tall, built like a Greek god, put every boy in Florida I saw to shame. Come on, Jess, settle down, Abby soothed. You've seen at least 10 men like that since we left home. Come on, help me pick out a roast at the meat counter. But Mama, this one was different. He was older, rugged looking, but sexy. God, my nipples are hard just thinking about him. Ooh, she shuddered. Jessie Elizabeth, Abby said, shocked again. I'm sorry, Mama, but God, wait till you see him. Come on. Jessie grabbed the cart and tried to hurry her mother along. Abby pulled back, resisting. Jessie, settle down for Christ's sake. But Mama, you gotta see him, Jessie said, persisting to drag her mother in the cart up the aisle. They turned the corner and looked. Jessie looked disappointed when they found the aisle empty. I think you're hallucinating, child, Abby said, pulling the cart free from Jessie's grasp and turning the other way, bumping head-on into a surprised but smiling Sean Murphy. Abby, Sean said, smiling warmly. I thought that was you. I caught a glimpse of you. I came back this way to be sure. Sean, Abby stammered, feeling the color rise in her cheeks. My, where have you been hiding? I thought you'd be doing your shopping in Marshall. Well, you know me. I've been hiding out and trying to go bankrupt. As if you didn't know. They both laughed at their private joke, leaving Jessie standing there open-mouthed. I came into Warrington to the lumberyard. I was just trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Well, you don't look frazzled yet. How's it coming? Abby asked with genuine interest. Real good, Sean answered, glancing Jessie's way and smiling. You wouldn't know the place now. You should stop by and check it out. Hi, he said, looking again at Jessie. I'm Sean Murphy, and you must be Jessie. Your mother's told me quite a lot about you. Sean offered his hand, and Jessie speechlessly reached out and shook it, turning a deep shade of red. Oh, I'm sorry. Where are my manners? Abby chided, not noticing her daughter's discomfort. Mama, Jessie said in an embarrassed tone. It's all right, dear. Mr. Murphy, Sean's a friend. I sold him a house just after you left. You really ought to see the place, Sean broke in. My friend, old Jack Braggs, came up from Norfolk, and he's been helping me. We've made quite a bit of headway. Stop by. Really, you'll be surprised. Abby hesitated. Well, Jessie and we haven't seen each other. Mama, Jessie interrupted, not wanting her mother to turn down the invitation on her account. Bring her too. I'm sure we won't bore her too badly. Mama, Jessie said pleadingly. Tell you what, Sean continued. I'll pick up a couple extra steaks, and you two can stop out for the grand tour, and we'll grill some steaks and potatoes, and you can see how to go bankrupt in style. Well, I don't know, Abby hesitated. Mama, Jessie pleaded, her eyes looking hopeful. Well, okay, I guess, but we've got errands to run. Sean smiled at them both. Well, you know you're welcome any time. You don't need an invitation. Whenever you get there is fine. Jack and I got plenty of work to do. We'll get things started whenever you arrive. Well, I better grab those steaks and get back. I got a lot to get done before you two come over. Do you want us to bring anything? Abby asked, warming to the idea. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Nonsense. We'll bring a dish of some sort if you're supplying the steaks. It's the least we can do, Abby said firmly, her mind racing, thinking of what she could whip up quickly. Sounds good. Well, I better go. Jesse, it was nice to meet you. He flashed Jesse a big smile. And Abby, it was nice to see you again, too. I'll be looking forward to later. Me too, Sean, Abby said as their eyes locked and smoldered for an instant. With a smile and a quick wave, Sean was gone, headed for the meat counter. Both women watched after him for a moment. What a hunk, Jesse said, exhaling loudly. Yes, he is, Abby said in soft agreement, smiling a secret contented smile, while her mind flashed back to her night with Sean. Oh my God, Mama, he's the sexiest man I've ever seen. I can't believe you know him, and never told me. I thought we told each other everything. Like you told me about Greg? But Mama, that's different, and I did tell you about him just now, Jessie pouted. You didn't tell me anything about him at all, she shot back defensively. That's because there's nothing to tell, really. I barely know him. Mama, you all should have seen the way you were looking at each other. I sold him a house, that's all. That's all, huh? And we had lunch and dinner. Mama, so you did have a date with him. Not a date, really, Abby rationalized. We were celebrating him buying a house, that's all. Mama, since when have you gone out with clients? Well, he's rather charming, and I felt sorry for him. The property I sold him was an old abandoned estate, pre-Civil War colonial, a real money pit, but he was set on a fixer-upper. Is that all, Mama? Well, he paid cash for the place and wanted to celebrate, so I bought him dinner, sort of a last meal before he went bankrupt. That house is gonna soak him. And, Jessie said, trying to draw out the details. And what? That's all there is. Abby left it hang abruptly. She didn't like where her daughter's questions were leading. She felt like the child, and she didn't want to lie to Jessie. Mama, I wasn't born yesterday, Jessie mocked, using one of Abby's favorite cliches, and sounding a lot like her. Abby was silent and went back to her shopping. After a moment, Jessie stomped her foot. Ooh, Mama, it's not fair. You always tell me we're best friends and can tell each other everything. Now you're acting like this. It isn't fair, Mama, Jessie pouted. Abby went about her shopping for a few minutes. Then she turned and looked at her daughter. I'm sorry, Jessie. You're right. Yes, I met him, and okay, I guess we had a date. That's it? That's not what the look said, Jessie pried. Okay, Abby said, conceding defeat. Your grandparents even liked him, although I don't think you'd get Daddy to admit it. Jessie stood stunned, open-mouthed. You took him to meet your parents? After one date? And it's no big deal? I can't believe I'm hearing this, Mama. It was only because of the antiques. What antiques? Jessie asked, baffled. The house I sold him was in shambles, but it was boarded up, closed up, and never looted or emptied. Clothes still in the closets, dishes still in the cupboards. A lot of real nice pieces, actually, probably worth more than the house. So I took him to meet your grandfather. I told him he would help restore or sell them, and be fair with him about it. So let me get this straight, Mama, Jessie said, looking calm and serious. You meet this man who just happens to look like a Greek god, sell him an old falling down house for next to nothing, which just happens to be a treasure chest of old antiques, which he also happens to pay you cash for. He takes you to lunch and, I repeat, and dinner. He meets your parents, and here I am, your daughter, your best friend, the one you tell all to, and all you can say is nothing much happened while I was gone? What other details haven't you told me, Mama? Any other surprises, huh? What are you going to tell me next, Mama? That you slept with him? Abby's jaw clamped shut, and she could feel a blush spread from her ears and across her face. She dropped her gaze, not wanting to lie to Jessie. She knew her eyes would give her away. She felt so ashamed and cheap having her daughter question her this way. After a moment of silence, and watching her mother's reaction, a thought hit Jessie like a ton of bricks. Oh my God, Jessie said, her jaw dropping. Mama, you did, didn't you? Jessie asked in a hoarse whisper. Abby just stood there, not answering, her head bowed. Mama? Abby looked up and held Jessie's gaze. A single tear started down her cheek as she bowed her head again and gave a hesitant nod. Oh, Mama, don't cry, Jessie said, smiling warmly and stepping forward to give her a big hug. Mama, it's okay. I'm happy for you. But I feel so cheap. You knowing. You don't understand, Abby said, barely loud enough for Jessie to hear. Mama, I understand. I just had no idea. I just said it. I didn't realize it was true until you reacted like you did. I wouldn't have put you on the spot like that. Besides, why shouldn't you sleep with him? You're a normal, healthy woman with natural desires. And Mama, he's obviously a normal, healthy male. My God, Mama, who could blame you? I'm happy for you. You deserve it. Jessie hugged her mother again. Come on, Mama. It's okay. We'll finish our shopping and errands and go see him. Are you sure you don't think badly of me, Jess? Just tell me the truth, Abby pleaded. Nonsense, Mama. Come on. Jessie grabbed the card and started down the aisle. Thank you, sweetheart, Abby said softly as she followed her daughter down the aisle, seeing Jessie for the first time in a different way. She wasn't a little girl anymore. She was a grown woman now. Her little girl was all grown up.